You're listening to Chill Chat, the weekly Chinese language learning podcast that breaks down vocabulary and grammar and provides listening practice through natural conversations about culture, trends, and other useful topics.
Each episode is accompanied by transcripts, so you can follow along with us. Members also have access to weekly guided readings and weekly grammar lessons. Additionally, if you would like to have personalized, one-on-one instruction from Karen, you can book a lesson on italki.
To check out free samples or book a lesson, find the links in the description. 我是 Karen.
我是 Baiwei. We are broadcasting from Houston, Texas.
Today's Chill Chat is a grammar podcast episode.
It's the most exciting subject I could possibly think of.
语法.
语法.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it exciting, guys? So today we'll be talking about how to describe doing something for a period of time in Chinese.
Yeah, it's actually quite tricky because there's many ways to say it. Like, I did something for this many years. I've been doing something for this many years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is something we had to learn when we're in school, the English grammar.
Right.
Have been, has been.
Yeah.
Did.
And English is probably more complicated than Chinese in this for this grammar.
I would argue it's about the same level of confusion.
Let's go.
Okay, so that's why I think it's worthwhile to film a podcast episode about this.
Mm-hmm.
First, we're going to talk about how to say somebody did this activity for this period of time. So this person is no longer doing it.
Okay.
So we'll have the subject, verb. And then you will have how long.
Mm-hmm.
And after how long is the object. Since we're talking about somebody did in the past, you will add le right after the verb.
Now, this is where a lot of foreigners get confused with le. And I did too at first, because in English we have the ed for past tense. So I played for 2 hours, right? Whenever you first learn that le is used for past tense in Chinese, you think, oh, le is just the ed of English, but it's not quite that, right?
No. 好, but in this case, it is similar to the ed.
Okay.
And remember, the how long, in terms of how long of a time, is always put after the verb and before the object.
Okay.
So you kind of have to sandwich it between the verb and the object. Okay, let's take a look at an example.
好的.
Let's say I
played games for 3 hours.
Okay. How would you say that?
Okay, you said the period of time has to come between the verb and the object, right?
Yes.
Okay. 我玩了3个小时游戏.
Exactly.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was wrong.
That's right. That's exactly right. So in this sentence, the verb is what?
玩.
Yes.
Play.
How? And the object?
The object is games. 游戏.
Yes. And the how long is?
3个小时, 3 hours.
对。好，我玩了 played 3个小时 3 hours 游戏 game.
Okay.
Notice there is no for in this Chinese sentence. You don't need to say for 3 hours.
Right. And could you have just as easily put the le at the very end of the sentence or no?
No.
Okay.
The le needs to be right after the verb.
Okay, always. Gotcha.
In this case, if you're describing I did something in the past for this much time.
Okay.
Okay? And you're no longer doing it at the moment.
All right.
Okay, how? Let's take a look at another example. How would you say I played basketball for 5 years?
And, okay. 我打了篮球 No. 我打了5年篮球。
对。
Oh, that was tough to put together, like putting a puzzle piece together. 我打了5年篮球。
对。
好的 Okay.
It's tempting to say 打了篮球, right?
Yes.
It's tempting to say 打篮球 together.
Yes. Yeah, like I actually want to say 我打了篮球. No, I want to say 我打篮球5年了. That's my instinct.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Is that because maybe I've been saying it wrong this whole time because I remember this is an answer I've had to say many times in China. How long have you been living in China? And I would say 我住在中国3年了.
Yes, and that means I have been living in China for 3 years.
Okay.
I have been living in
Okay.
China for 3 years, which means you're still in China.
Oh, but now I'm not. So now I have to say 我住了在中国7年. No?
This is a great example. How would you say I did something for this much time at this place? Right? So now we're adding another element in the sentence, which
Yeah.
is the location.
Right.
好, and this is a very common thing for people to want to say, I lived in this country for this many years.
Mm-hmm.
The location will be put before the verb. So the location is 在中国.
在中国.
And then the verb.
Oh my gosh. So the place goes before the verb.
Yes. Just like in any other sentence,
So,
the place goes before the verb.
Therefore, in this sentence, there won't be a 在.
在中国 is the place,
Oh,
right?
okay. 我在中国住了7年.
Yes.
Could I just as easily say 我在中国住7年了?
No,
Okay.
because you're no longer in China.
Okay.
Remember, guys, if you are no longer doing this activity, it ended. This 了 needs to be right after the verb.
Okay.
So you need to say 住了,玩了,打了.
我在中国住了7年.
对.
Man, it's so tempting to say 了 after 年. 7年了. Because I've said that so many times living in China. And now I don't anymore. So, man. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
My brain has to shift gears.
对,好. And this is a great way to remember a structure, a complicated structure, is you just need to repeat the sentence often enough. Then you're saying it without even thinking about it.
Yeah, like it rolls right off my tongue. 我住在中国7年了. But that implies I'm still here in China, right?
That's right.
But it's so hard for me because I have that habit to say 我在中国住了7年. Oh, that sounds so clunky. Anyway.
Okay, 好. So if you're adding place in the sentence, the place is before the verb.
Okay.
Okay, 好. So let's repeat this sentence again. The first element is the subject, which is,
我
and then the location,
在中国
then verb,
住
then 了,
了
then how long.
7年.
In this example, there's no object, so we'll end there.
Okay.
好. Let's try again. How would you say, I lived in the UK for 1 year, which is my situation.
Okay. 我在英国住了1年.
对。很好.
I can say it with really intense focus. But it doesn't just roll off my tongue just yet.
Just like any new grammar, take some focus. How would you say, I lived in Europe for 1 year?
我在欧洲住了1年.
对.
Okay.
That's right. Okay. Oh.
Now you're just quizzing me on whether I can say my place names in Chinese. Ask me another one.
Okay.
Ask me one you think I don't know. Shouldn't have said that. Now you're
I lived in Egypt for 5 months.
我在埃及住了 5月.
5月?
You said 5 months, right?
Yes.
5个月.
Yes.
Yikes.
Can you explain what happened there? Because I see a lot of my students make this mistake.
Okay. So in Chinese, the months they don't have special names like they do in English, like April, May, June, July. They are spoken with the number. Okay. So January is 1月, February is 2月. Right?
Yes.
So therefore, you can't say 5月 because that actually means May. Right?
Yes.
You have to say 5个月, meaning 5 months.
对。
对。
好. By adding the measure word 个, you're turning the phrase into a quantitative expression.
Right, and this is only with months. It's confusing because I just said a bunch of sentences with year, which is 7年,
Yeah.
7 years, or 1年, 1 year. But then when you say months, you have to add 个.
Yes.
Yeah, 5个月.
Okay.
Like normally I say 5个月 without thinking, but because we just said like 10 sentences with year, my brain just threw out the 个.
Okay. 好. I'm surprised you know how to say 埃及.
Ooh, quiz me on another one.
Okay. 好. I lived in the Philippines for 10 years.
我在菲律宾住了10年.
Wow. Okay, I give up.
Well, I taught geography in China for a long time. So
You know all the
that's
places.
why. That's why.
好，很好. Okay. Let's switch this up. Let's replace 住 with another verb.
好的.
I studied Chinese in China for 2 months, which is what a lot of people do.
And this is, I'm in China or I'm not in China?
I'm not in China.
I'm not
I
in
did this in the past.
Okay. Say the sentence again, please.
I studied Chinese for 2 months in China.
Okay. 我在中国学中文. 我在中国学了中文2个月. No.
Not quite, not quite. 你再想想 the subject 我 then the place
在中国
then the verb
学了
how long
2个月.
and then at the end is object.
中文. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, yes.
So the correct sentence is 我在中国学了2个月中文.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is so confusing.
Okay, 好 that's why we're doing this podcast. 好 let's try another one. I stayed at a hotel for a week.
And I have to use 待.
Yes.
Okay. Mm. 我在酒店待了1个星期.
对了
How? Well, I only got that right because I was like looking at the structure. I was looking at that.
好很好 Okay, so that is how you say I did something for this much time in the past. 好 let's read the sentences one more time.
Okay.
我玩了3个小时游戏
I played basketball for 3 hours.
游戏
I was looking at the basketball underneath that sentence. Sorry. I played video games for 3 hours.
我打了5年篮球
I played basketball for 5 years.
我在中国住了7年
I lived in China for 7 years.
我在欧洲住了1年
I lived in Europe for 1 year.
我在中国学了2个月中文
I studied Chinese in China for 2 months.
我在酒店待了1个星期
I stayed at a hotel for 1 week.
Great. 好。Now let's talk about what if you're still doing this activity?
Like you are literally bouncing a basketball. And
For 5 years and you're still
No.
playing.
No, let's say someone's asking you, how long have you been playing today? Right? Like you come up on your friend and they're all sweaty playing basketball. You're like, how long have you guys been playing?
Yeah.
And you mean like, how long has this session been going on, right?
Or if it's a habit, a hobby that you've been doing for a long time, but you're still doing it.
Why don't we discuss the difference between those two things?
We will.
Okay.
好, so we just talked about how to say I lived in China for 7 years and you're no longer living in China.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you are still in China?
Okay. I got this one. I've had to answer this 1,000 times a day.
好.
Before.
What would you say?
Well, give me how many years am I saying?
7.
Okay. 我住在中国7年了.
Okay.
See how it just rolls off the tongue when I actually had to say that sentence so many times.
So in this sentence, you put le at the very end of the sentence, which is the key.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still doing this activity, the le is at the end of the sentence.
Okay. I'm just realizing that I have talked to Chinese people in the U.S. And I said that sentence because I'm so used to saying it.
Oh.
And they were so nice, not correcting me, but I realize I've said it wrong because I'm not in China anymore.
Which they can see, so they understand what you
So I would have had to say 我在中国住了7年.
Yes.
Oh, man. Okay.
好. So this is the first way you can say it. 我住在中国7年了. With the verb 住, which means to live, it's a bit tricky. There are different ways to say it. You can also say 我在中国住了7年了. Just add another le.
我在中国住了7年了.
Yeah.
You can use le twice.
Yeah.
Okay, but you have to have the one at the end.
Yes.
To indicate that the action is still going on.
Yes.
Okay.
好. Let's say I've been playing frisbee for how long?
2 years.
Okay. How would you say that?
我玩飞盘2年了.
对. Very good. Very good. 很好. 好. You can also say 我玩了2年飞盘了.
我玩了2年飞盘了.
对，也可以. I've been eating rice for 28 years.
Yeah. So many true statements today. Oh my gosh, I can't even say this without laughing.
You won't offend me. Go.
我吃米饭28年了.
对. Very good. Okay. 好. So the le at the end meaning I'm still doing this activity. I'm still eating rice. 好. To sum up, if you are describing an activity that you have been doing and you're still doing today, you can say subject, then verb object, and then how long, and then le at the end.
Yes, which I think for English speakers, this structure is way more intuitive.
Okay, cool.
Whereas the one where you've stopped doing the activity, you did it in the past, that's a lot more difficult to wrap my brain around.
对, 好. Okay, let's try another one. I've been teaching for 5 years.
And I'm still teaching.
对.
Still going on. Okay.
I've been teaching Chinese for 5 years.
Okay. 我教中文5年了.
Very good. 很好.
How do you say teaching in general?
我当老师, you say I am a teacher.
Yeah, because it just intuitively saying 我教5年了 sounds not right. So you say 我当老师
5年了.
5年了.
对.
Okay, 好.
对. 好. Or you can say 教书. Sometimes you can say 教书. As in teaching in general.
What if you want to say like a specific grade? Like I teach middle school.
Oh.
Like, would you say 我教中学5年了。
可以。
That's it?
对啊，
Okay.
对。好，
It's 教 not 教。
教是教。
是
教
医生吗？
医生。
Okay,
对。好。Okay, let's read the examples of this grammar one more time.
Okay.
Okay, 好。我住在中国7年了。
I have been living in China for 7 years.
我玩飞盘2年了。
I have been playing Frisbee for 2 years. 了。
我吃米饭28年了。
I have been eating rice for 28 years. 了。
我教中文5年了。
I've been teaching Chinese for 5 years. 了。
我教中学5年了。
I've been teaching middle school for 5 years. 了。
Okay, how would you say I've been living in the US for 1 year?
我住在美国1年了。
Great. I've been living in the US for 8 months.
我住在美国8个月了。
Yes. 好。So the difference between I did something and I no longer am doing it versus I'm still doing it is that le at the end.
Actually, this is a great example of how the le is much more versatile than the English ed. Because it is the difference between your like past continuous and what's the other one? Just past tense?
Past tense.
Simple tense, is that what
Yeah.
it indicates that difference, right?
Yeah. Le is so complex. I remember watching a lecture at university in Taiwan dedicated to explain the function of de. And the teacher doesn't even...
Le.
Le, yes. The teacher doesn't even know how to explain it or can't fully explain what le does. She had a theory which is pretty interesting. She thinks le indicates an impact. A past action has impact on the current moment. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is something I think might be worth digging into, but le is very complex.
Yeah.
If you find digging too deeply into the grammar structure very confusing and overwhelming, just remember 1 or 2 anchor sentences,
Yes.
and then you will remember the structure.
That's true. And I'm going to start with 我在中国住了7年. Ugh, still don't have it. Still clunky, but yeah, that's my anchor sentence.
好. And in the end, we're going to talk about how to say stopped doing something. So let's say I played basketball for 5 years. I stopped playing it.
Okay.
好. First of all, we don't really use the word stop, which is 停止 in Chinese. Instead, you would say 现在我不 verb 了。
我不玩了。
对。
我不打了。
That's right. So 我打了5年篮球，现在我不打了。
Oh, that's what you have to do every time?
No, you don't have to say the full sentence.
Okay. Because in English, it's like, I played basketball for 5 years. And the context, actually, no. Yeah. If you say, I played basketball for 5 years, means I played in the past and now I stopped. But if you say, I have been playing for 5 years, that's your continuous. I'm still doing it.
So what you're saying is, either option, you are already indicating if you're doing it or not.
Yeah.
So you don't need to say, I stopped.
Right.
Okay. But if you do want to say that, then it's 不 verb 了.
Okay. So how do you say it? Indicate that you stopped playing it without saying 我不玩了.
You would say 我玩了3个小时游戏. That means I'm no longer playing it.
Okay. So it'd be 我打了5年篮球.
Yes.
Okay, so that indicates I don't play anymore.
Yes.
Okay. I'm
if you
sorry.
say-
I'm getting confused.
If you say I played basketball for 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
even the English sentence is telling you I no longer play, right?
Right.
But let's say somebody asks you, 你喜欢打篮球吗？哦，我喜欢。你打了多长时间？ You can say 我打了5年。你现在还打吗？现在我不打了。
Oh, okay.
That's how you say I stopped.
Gotcha. Okay.
我在中国住了7年，现在我不在中国了。
Okay. 好的。
对，好。我玩飞盘2年了，现在我还在玩。
Oh, okay. I'm still playing.
对，好。That is this week's Chill Chat grammar episode.
好的。
Let us know if you enjoyed it. If you find this helpful, please let us know. We'll do more grammar podcasts in the future.
Yes, this actually came at the request of me because it's an area of growth for me. So let me know if you guys find grammar episodes helpful or, yeah. Or if you find them unhelpful.
Completely pointless. Let us know. Okay. And I know some of the explanation might be a bit confusing for some of you. Look at the transcript. You'll find a very clear grammar structure with example sentences, and you can practice them.
对
And try to build some sentences of your own
对
and make those as your anchor sentence.
对，
好，
我在中国住了7年。
there, you got it.
Got it.
You already got it. In the end, we're going to give a shout out to our new members.
好的
We have Sean West,
Thank you, Sean.
Ashley,
谢谢你, Ashley.
Jason.
Thank you, Jason. Froggy Cornity. Thank you, Froggy
gosh.
Cornity.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you guys so much. 下次再见。
下次再见。